morning, everyone, and welcome to this walkthrough of the Spring 2017 overview, the new features that we released in the Spring 2017 release of dftly Time Tracker. We're going to go spend maybe about 30 minutes altogether, or 20 minutes on the presentation and then on any questions that you might have. Feel free to just chat and share your questions and I'll answer them as we go along. Right, hopefully everybody can see my screen. I'm going to start with a very basic presentation and then switch to the actual product and the handset app both, right? So what we're going to be doing during this is, here's a quick presentation, is one, why track time at all, how you would use the time tracker, including the new features that we have in the Spring 2017 release. Some little bit of detail on how you can configure and customize two elements that you would want for yourselves, and then to a Q&A session. So that's what we plan to cover in here, right? So going forward, if you look at why track time, we look at it from three basic perspectives. One, from the work that is actually being done within your organization, and with people being able to check in and check out their times on specific tasks or on travel and such. You will be able to track exactly how much time is being spent on what projects, what customers, and so on. And this obviously lets you do billing much more easily. So if you're billing your customers or you're billing by projects or tasks, then the data that you have within the time tracker lets you give a very transparent way of billing your customer and actually providing the data to back up your billing invoices and so on. And the third area that this helps is in payroll processing, because you now have the actual time that your employees have spent on specific tasks and activities and so on. You are now able to make your payroll processing much, much simpler, right? So moving on, there are various things that you can do in terms of configuration here, and that's in terms of basic objects that we support within the dftly Time Tracker are projects, tasks, and work types. And you can essentially set up your own projects, tasks, and work types inside the dftly Time Tracker, or if you have objects that you're already using for, let's say, custom objects such as vacancies or jobs and things like that, you could set that up to come into the time tracker, or you could use standard objects inside of Salesforce such as accounts or opportunities and track time to those. Now the good thing about the time tracker is that you can have either non-Salesforce users on the handsets, or Salesforce users can use a handset, or they can track time inside of Salesforce. You can roll up all of these to your own objects. You can track time, like I said, to any object, either custom or standard. And we give you two different looks here. One is what we call the smiley look, which is just a little very, very simple interface. Or if you want a more industrial look, then you can take this one where you can have people track time to projects, tasks, and work types, right? Looking at some of the new things that we have inside the Spring 2017 release, I'm going to switch to the handset app here. So it's a very, very simple handset app. You essentially put in a PIN, which is a 4-character number that you can remember, and it brings you into this check-in screen. Now the check-in screen is very simple. What you do is you select a project, you select a task that you're doing in here, let's say it's form work, and you select a work type. Now in this particular case, I'm choosing something that says non-billable, and all I do is click on the in. So now it's saying that I'm checked in, and it's showing 7:36 p.m. and that's the reason for that is I'm in a different time zone, and that's why it's showing my current time zone. Whereas back on the inside Salesforce, it will show the time in uh, the time zone for the org that you're checked into. So let me just show that to you. Okay, so this is my time tracker app inside Salesforce. So for example, if I'm looking at the time tracker details, here it is. Let me just refresh the screen. What you will see here is this is the one that I just checked into. So I've said I was doing boiler service, I've said I was doing form work, and I'm doing a non-billable task. So it's showing that I have checked in at 7:38 on the 4th of April, and there is no timestamp, end timestamp, because I'm still checked in, right? So that's what you're seeing, and this is the current data as we speak. So now if I switch to the phone app, let me go back there, and I click on checkout now. So now I'm checked out of the app. If I go back to my Salesforce app and refresh the screen here for the time tracker details, you will now see that there is an end timestamp on that job. So this is how the phone and the Salesforce app keep in sync. So the data gets synced to the Salesforce app as long as you are inside a Wi-Fi zone, or as long as your data cycle is on, right? So that's how this works. Let me show you some of the simple things that are on this is a dashboard, and there are a lot of things that you can track here: the time by task, the time by user, time worked this month by day, lots of different things that we have on a dashboard. And these can essentially get customized to whatever else that you would want to see. Um, these are all the users that you have on your time tracker app. So this is what this is showing you. And if you look, some of these are Salesforce users, others are not. So this is what I was telling you initially, that you can have either non-Salesforce users or Salesforce users using the same app. So if you're a Salesforce user, then it shows you that what your Salesforce user ID is. If you're not, you don't have a Salesforce ID, right? And this is the time tracker detail that I was showing you. So I could go in and look at the detail here. It shows me all the details about this particular task that I did. So it shows you who the user was, which account, if I was going to an account, but if not, it shows me, the basic project, task, and the work type, and the start and end timestamps for that particular job, right? So that's something that it shows. And we also have the ability to check in. Now this, I'm logged in as a different user here. I could check into uh, from inside Salesforce. So if I click on check in here, it gives me the same set of objects that I had on the handset. So I can choose a project, I can choose a task, and I can choose a work type. And then I can check in here, right? So as when I finish checking in, now it says that I've checked in. If I go back to my time tracker screen and refresh the screen, what I'm seeing here is that this different user called Julia R is now checked in to the time tracker. And this one has checked in on the handset. I'm sorry, not on the handset, but inside Salesforce, right? So this is the user that's checked in, and she is now checked in on inside Salesforce. She is a Salesforce user, and she's checked in using Salesforce. Now, the nice thing about this is that you could actually start the check-in when you're inside Salesforce, and let's say that you're actually traveling around and you've gone to a customer site. Once you're there, you no longer have access to Salesforce on your mobile, on your laptop, then you can check out on your handset. So that is possible. So you can check in and check out on either device. You can check in on your laptop, check out on the handset, or check in on the handset and check out on the laptop. Either ways works, right? And there's a whole set of reports that we provide. There's probably 17, 18 different reports here. And for example, if you look at there's a report here called People Checked In Now. If I look at this report, it shows me that Julia R is checked in. So for people like managers, this is great because they can look at all the people that are already their team members and see that whether they're already checked in or what they're working on and so on in real time. So this is a great feature for managers and admins and people like that to use. So essentially, this is a brief about what the general time tracking app does. Let me show you a couple of things now on the handset. We have a new feature in here which we call the multi-check-in. And what this lets you do is a couple of different things. One, it gives you the ability to check into multiple tasks. Now this screen actually has 5 check-in objects here. So let's say you only want to check in at the end of the day. You finished your tasks for the day and you want to check in, and you worked on, let's say, 4 different things during that day. You can, just like you did for the single check-in, you can choose each of the projects, tasks, and work types that you worked on, put in a check-in time and a checkout time, or you can choose the hours that you worked on, the number of hours that you worked on, and select that as well. So it lets you do that. So choose a proper date there. So you select the number of hours, and I can now say I worked for 8 hours and 15 minutes, let's say. So you can select the number of hours that you work. So what you can do essentially is once you finish the task, you can come in at the end of the day or end of the week and put in all the jobs that you did during that week or day. And this lets you do that. The second thing is that also if you've just finished the task, but you didn't have Wi-Fi connection or a cell phone connection at the place where you did the job, you can go in and do your data entry after the task is finished. So this is what you're able to do here. We also have a list of all the jobs that you could possibly work on. So this gives you all the work types and the tasks that you can work on. So this is just a list of everything that you have, right? So coming back to the check-in screen, so the app on the handset we've kept very, very simple so that people can use it really fast. Just put in their times, check in, check out, and just get out. So that's the idea behind the handset app, to keep it as simple as possible for non-Salesforce users as well. So that's the idea there. Now, like I showed you, there is a whole lot of reports that you can look at, and a lot of dashboard elements that you can look at that gives you, things like time worked by user, time worked by for the month, time worked by different tasks, time worked by the work types, and so on. So whatever it is that you're looking for, and you can build your own reports, or we could build those for you. There's a whole lot of things that you can do. So if you go back, the multiple activity tracking, I just showed you how that gets done. There's a time tracking inside Salesforce, which I just showed you. The other interesting thing is that you can track time to any objects. I showed you projects, tasks, and work types, which is the standard that we have inside the dftly time tracker. If you look here, these are screens from some of our other customers. You can track time to standard objects like opportunities, or you can track time to custom objects like vacancies and work types, which are specific to customer, right? So you can do that. And also we now have a timesheet approval mechanism. This is a really simple interface for approving or rejecting timesheets. Now this can be either inside Salesforce for managers that are Salesforce users, Or if you have people that are temp workers that work at client sites, we also provide this as a web page, and the client managers can just log into a website and approve timesheets from that web page. We also provide an email reminder for approval so that managers get an email every week that says these are the people for whom you need to approve timesheets, and based on that they can click on a link and go in and approve or reject the timesheets. We have some app configuration coming up. These are what we have coming up in the future. So a lot of the configuration, we will make it easier to do that on your own or to have one of your consulting partners do this. So configuration becomes simpler. This is the dftly time tracker object model. There are only a couple of things that we add in here: the projects, tasks, and work types, the details of the time tracking object, and the dftly time tracker user. So the users can be the Salesforce users here. So we have the Salesforce users object, or they could just be contacts inside Salesforce. So that is how non-Salesforce users can use the handset app. The architecture itself is very simple. There is the app on the handset, which could be either an Android app or an iPhone, iPad app. We have a small dftly server, which we use to maintain the customizable, configurable objects for each customer. And then most of the stuff that gets done is really inside of Salesforce. We don't maintain any data inside dftly. All your data is maintained inside Salesforce. So as far as security is concerned, there are no issues at all. In terms of roadmap, there are some website functions I just showed you that the approvers could come in and approve or reject timesheets on a website. The multi-line data entry is done. Paid time off is handled as work types, and that has already been rolled out. We have other things that we're rolling out in the next quarter, and that includes things like push messaging. We are looking at location tracking, expense tracking, and integration with some other objects, with some other apps like QuickBooks, Xero, and so on for billing. So as the app itself is available on the App Exchange, there is a free trial available. You can take a look at that. You can start using it right now, start working with it. Let us know if you want anything else. If you're looking to configure it to your own objects, we can do that. So that in a nutshell is what you could do with the time tracker. Essentially for project management, for billing and payroll. That's what we are trying to make easier. Like I said, you can use either with Salesforce users or non-Salesforce users. Everything comes into the same database. So if you have any questions, then I can take that now. Something that a lot of people ask us about is whether all of the data gets tracked into the same database. And yes, that is true. Whether you're Salesforce users or not, it does come to the same database. And you can run your reports either for Salesforce users or non-Salesforce users, or combine everybody and run reports off of the entire database. We can actually set it up so that your Salesforce and non-Salesforce users have different objects that they're tracking to, and that is something that we can do fairly easily through configuration. Do we have multi-check-in option inside Salesforce? Right now what we have is a single check-in option. We do have a multi-check-in option that will be rolled out possibly in the by the end of this month. You will have a multi-check-in option available inside Salesforce as well. So that is what the multi check-in option that we have inside the phone right now will be available inside Salesforce as well. So this option will be available inside Salesforce, where you can check in for multiple dates and times. That will be available inside Salesforce. It will probably be rolled out by the end of this month, right? Anything else that I can help you with? The Let me quickly take you to the website here. Do we have an option to check in and check out when we don't have a data connection available? Right now, there isn't an option to check in and check out when there's no data connection. But what you could do is that when you're done with the task and you come into an area that has a data connection, you can use the multi-check-in screen to check in the time that you spent on a given task. So that is how you could, that's the workaround right now. If you are interested in an offline sync, which is what this question seems to be about, do let us know. And we do have that in our plan, but it's not something that we are rolling out right now. Possibly in the third quarter of 2017 is when we will have that option rolled out. So for right now, the workaround is to use the multi-check-in screen and put in the time that you're using, that you've spent on that particular task, and do that after the task is completed using the multi-check-in option. So that's a workaround here. Okay, so I was just going to go in and show you the website. Just give me a minute here. Okay, so pricing is usually a question that comes up all the time, so I just wanted to show you. We have something called the monthly active user licensing here. So what this means is we're really working this for people that have variable number of users on a given monthly basis. So when you buy, let's say, the team edition, which costs you $1,800, what you're paying is for 50 into 12, that is 600 active users at a given time when you make your purchase. So let's say on a given month in January, you have only 25 users, and the next month, because you have some sort of big event going on, you have 75 users, and then you take the following month has 100 users and so on. So you've now used 100 plus 75 plus 25, which is 200 users. You still have 400 active users left. So you could use that with 25 users going for the rest of the months, you know. But if you, and at the end of the time, if you've used up all of your active users, then you could go ahead and purchase extra users at the end of that time frame. So it's a very simple, flexible pricing model that we've provided, and you can therefore use it in whatever way that makes sense for you, right? Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you very much for being a part of the webinar. Do send us any questions that you have, and we'll be very happy to answer those for you. You can send us email to info at dftly.com. That is dftly.com, right? Okay.